Good evening, friends, and welcome, Sanjay. Good evening. And
Good evening.
it's indeed, I would say, more than a pleasure and honor to have Sanjay interacting with us. Personally, a great, great friend and a wonderful human being for all of us to know. Now, let's make it formal in terms of trying to introduce Sanjay. Sanjay holds a degree in MBA and has more than 3 decades of business in film financing, acquisition, and distribution. So, if you have watched anything in South Indian films, especially Tamil films, you couldn't have missed AP International, and that's the man behind AP International. He's a managing partner of AP International, which was established in 1994, one of the oldest film studios in southern India, and has handled over 1,000 films since inception. His entity owns over 2,000 IP assets, including films and music. And his core strength is in film financing, one of the very few people who've managed to survive, of course, struggled in this space. Maybe Sanjay will tell the order in which this has happened for him in life. Uh, Again, pioneers in international distribution and syndication, digitization and digital media services platform, digital content production, OTT platform. So you name it in the media business, you have someone who's actually been there and done that. And apart from AP International, Sanjay has been the founder and co-founder investor for a diversified businesses ranging from real estate, construction, seafood, telecommunications, NBFC, digital media, and has been a global board member of EO for 3 years, one of the most respected members in EO, and someone who seamlessly connects with people at a personal level. Sanjay, it's indeed an honor to have you with us today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Divakar.
So, so, Sanjay, we spoke nearly a year back. You had your media friends, literally the top brass of media, lined up for us, and Shubhashish and literally name it, we had
Kamal and Vijay of Amazon.
Nabal and Vijay. Yes, Vijay from Amazon Prime as well. So yes.
Correct.
So uh, how has the landscape changed since then, Sanjay? Because at that time when we spoke, COVID was there were lockdowns, and people were really concerned on lot of these doomsday predictors and naysayers literally wrote off the entertainment industry for a while. How has it been for you?
So, for at least 9 months of the year, last year, like for the last 1 year, 9 months, till at least till November, things were quite bad because there was no. See, the major outlet for entertainment in India is always theatre, right? Only from theatre, then the downstream happens, whether it is satellite, it's digital, home video, music. But everything, if you see, even music is only revolving around movies. You don't have the albums or private albums like you
Right.
have in the thing. It's all connected to cinema, right? So with theaters not releasing or not opening up, films not releasing, therefore the flow of content got reduced. So till November, September, October, November, everything was really bad. Slowly after November, post November, depending on the state you are, bit by bit, everything opened up. Uh, but there have been a lot of challenges. In fact, I'd say this is the rebirth of the entertainment industry and way people are going to are going to be working going forward. Uh, First of all, let's look at it from the content creation part.
Hmm.
So we had these films early 2020 in February that were supposed to release in 2020. So for about
Hmm.
the whole of 2020, none of those movies released. Okay,
Yes.
and nobody shot till August, September, October. Nobody shoot. Only post October, some states like Tamil Nadu allowed, Bombay allowed shooting, Kerala allowed certain shooting. So started by October. But talk about it today, there is not a single artist across any language, be it Hindi, be it Tamil, be it Telugu, be it Malayalam, be it Kannada, be it Bengali, Oriya, Marathi, Gujarati,
All languages.
Punjabi, Bhojpuri, all languages, every artist is busy. Every
Wow.
artist is shooting. Now, on one side, you have 2020 content not released. On one side, you
Hmm.
have content being created. All this is all going to land up somewhere during end of 2021 when things really open up after vaccination or whatever happened. It's going to be dog eats man kind of a story. You're going to have five movies releasing on the same day because there's a doubling. You're trying to squeeze in 2 years movies into 1 year.
Get it. Get
This is
it.
going to get to be a choice of plenty. So the consumer in turn can choose which movie he wants to go for. The distributor can buy what he wants. The platform, whether the Amazons or Netflix of the world, their choices are plenty, and everybody has limited resources. Okay, they have X amount of dollars, or they have X amount of bandwidth in terms of number of movies that they can do in a calendar year. So because of that, it's going to be very difficult for content to survive. The top-notch content will survive. And for every
Hmm.
movie, I mean, contrary to what everybody says, OTT is doing well. OTT is doing well, yes, but what is it doing well? OTT is doing well in providing customers content on a regular basis. Month on month, there is a
Hmm.
movie available
Hmm.
for everybody to watch.
Hmm.
Okay, people sitting in Bombay are now watching a Malayalam movie because there's no content available. So they are forced to watch. They get to see some good content. But for
Hmm.
every one movie that is gone to OTT, there are 99 others that are lying languishing, nobody buying. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You also have a situation where the marginal films, the not the top six actors, but anything below the top six actors,
Hmm.
they're struggling to make it to the theaters. The revenue models have changed. Nobody wants to bet on the theater. The digital and the satellite remain the same.
Okay. So, if I were to understand you correctly now, I'm talking. Let's put it from an you have commoditized the film industry. The way you spoke, content is getting created. What we thought was more a creative industry, you have commoditized. So you're saying there is going to be 2 years of supply,
Yeah.
which is waiting to hit the market. But last year, let's assume we had only the physical theaters in play. Today, we have physical theaters and a series of OTTs, apart from Netflix and Amazon Prime, which were already in existence, which have also mushroomed. So, doesn't the number of channels which have expanded also give a place for disseminating this or absorbing this excess supply?
So let me ask you. You said there are many OTT platforms, right? Agreed. There are many OTT platforms. How many of them are actually? Please understand. Every producer can only put between 10 to 40% of the film budget. The balance
Hmm.
60% is either raised as a loan or taken advances from the distributors or platforms, right? So, in order for the movie to release, he has to pay up the liabilities that he's incurred on the film.
Hmm.
Sorry. Which are the platforms that are paying out money?
Hmm.
Amazon, Netflix, Hotstar.
Hmm. Hmm.
Please name a fourth platform in Hindi that is putting out money.
Okay. So even your Z's and
Okay, Z. Sorry, Z.
Sony Live, how
Sony Live, no. Sony Live is not buying
you're not
either.
buying Vivo,
No,
all those guys.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So when you have
Interesting.
only four players,
Okay.
okay, then you have these are the four main who can afford to buy the big ones. Okay,
Get
then you
it.
have the fringe players who'll buy like an Eros now or Shemaru. They'll pay 50 lakhs, 1 crore. They don't go beyond that budget. Now, for 50 lakhs,
Hmm.
1 crore, you'll get only that amount of a film, right?
Get it. So somewhere, if I were to look at this mismatch, you're
So
saying the
hang on a minute.
capacity.
Hang on a minute. So
Huh.
what happens with four films? Their capacity is to do only a film every 2 months. Example. So each
Okay.
platform can do six films times four, 24 films. Now you come
Okay.
down to Tamil. Amazon,
Hmm.
Netflix. These are the only two platforms. There's no third platform. Hotstar. Okay, three platforms.
Get it.
Come down to Telugu. Telugu has done well. There's a platform called Aha, which has done very well, and they're kind of buying big ticket film. They bought a film for about 8 crore last time. They're creating
Hmm.
independent content, web series, and stuff like that. Malayalam, there is a platform called Knee Stream that is paying 30 lakhs for a movie. They can't pay more than 30 lakhs. Now you have as against a Mohanlal movie which goes for 25 crores. So, you only have
Get it.
Amazon, Netflix, and you have ZTV over there, and
Hmm.
Hotstar
Hmm.
4. So it's all
Hmm.
divided only these top three, four players every market, and a Z.
So your demand absorb or your absorption is not is the capacity to absorb is not expanded significantly. Then why is this what do you say optimism in production? From where is it coming through? With all actresses being busy, artists being busy, Obviously someone is funding them. So is the producer universe now expanded compared to what it was prior to COVID?
So let me put it this way: the artists in every language which are saleable are only 5 or 6 of them, or maybe 10 of them.
Okay.
Now, on a normal day, it's possible that the artist may not give you a call sheet. But in this
Hmm.
time, when you're able to come up with money and tell the artist concerned, I've got the money, let's do the movie. The artist then he doesn't want, he's like an airline ticket, right? Please understand, the artist
Hmm.
is like an airline ticket. The airline has flown, it's got 30 seats left, that's 30 seats revenue gone. So an artist
Hmm.
sitting at home today is 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh, whatever be that number, that much he's lost for the day. For example,
Hmm.
if a hero is charging 2 crores and if he's giving 40 days of his call sheet, he's talking of 5 lakh rupees per day. So if he's not short today, 5 lakhs is gone.
Hmm. 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 It's
Right?
a perishable commodity for him,
It's
right?
absolutely perishable commodity. So he wants to encash it.
Okay. Okay. So they are willing to moderate on their fees.
No, they
So
are not. Nobody is moderating on their fee. In fact, they've gone up on their fee.
they've gone up on their fee. No, but somewhere the math doesn't work, Sanjay, because if you look at it, I mean, I'm just looking at it, comparing this with the car manufacturing industry. Here is a scenario where I'm producing more cars, where I know my buyers or my distributors have not expanded. My raw materials are available, so I'm producing. The hit has to be borne by someone in the supply chain. Who's the one who's going to bear that hit in your end?
So everybody bears it. So for example, let me tell you, the only people who go unscathed from this is the artists and the technicians and the guys on the actual production job, because they get their money upfront. They have unions that don't allow the film to release without their money getting coming. Okay.
Get it?
The producer loses, the financials lose, the distributors lose. Please note that you're playing against the house. 90% of films are loss making. So,
Mm-hmm.
and also you're living in dream world. Everybody's dreaming that his film is the next Dilwale Dulhania.
Mm-hmm. Get it, get it, get it. Lovely. So, with that being said, okay, let's now try and dice or split your industry into four quadrants. There is a producer who creates films, there is this artist, there is these theaters who distribute the films, and there is this producer who finances these films, theaters and
No,
OTTs.
sorry, you said what are
Sorry,
the 4 quadrants? What did you say 4 quadrants are?
you have your theaters and OTTs who are the distributors of films.
End point, yeah. Mm,
Endpoint. You have the consumers who consume whatever is being produced.
mm.
You have your artists who are the raw materials, I would
Yeah,
call it
the
in the
directors and talent, the talent.
yes, the entire talent pool, and you have the producers who are the financiers who make the entire engine work. Now let's take each of these engines during COVID and how life is transformed. I remember you sharing some of your films which you directly released on OTT as against going through the physical. Now, how badly are theaters getting hit, and do they feel going forward that OTT will be a challenge or a supplement for what they are offering?
So let's look at in Tamil what has happened. You have a situation where in Diwali there was a burst. 2 weeks customers came. After that, nobody came. Then there was
Hmm.
Master. Everybody came for Master. It was a huge way success. Subsequent to that, no other film has done well in Tamil. Okay,
Hmm.
people have not come. Either the content is not good, or people are scared, or what, we don't know. They've not come. Okay, there has been a hybrid model suggested where the OTT platform said you release on theater and 2 weeks later you give it to me.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the theaters are not willing to accept that. They're saying we want a minimum 4 week holdback because the customer psyche is, oh, the movie's coming in 2 weeks. Why should I go to the theater? I'll wait for it to come.
Exactly.
Right. But look at it this way: that none of the films that released on February 12th lasted more than a week
Okay, in the theaters themselves,
in the theaters
standalone.
themselves, standalone. Right? They didn't last more than a week. So you're having a situation where unless the big ones don't roll out, okay, it's not going to happen. Customer people are not willing to come out for mediocre content. Content has to be really good. On the other hand, I would say the OTT platforms are only going to be a supplemental source of income. Okay.
Okay.
Unlike Andhra, for example, if you notice in the last 2 months, they've had some phenomenal success. Non-artist films have done like 50 crore box office, 60 crore box office. It's been a great experience in Andhra.
Okay, okay. That's some non-artists. You're saying non-mainstream artists.
Non top 7 or top 8 artists.
Get it,
Literally,
get
and
it,
there was
get
one
it.
movie which was made with absolutely brand new artists. It's done like 70 crore box office.
Wow. Okay. So from a OTT theater standpoint, there is no competition given the excess amount of supply what we have, and you are saying it would be more a supplement going forward, and that's how it stays.
It'll for the tentpole movies, the theater will be the experience, but for the medium movies, people might shift towards the OTT platforms.
Because the larger concern here, Sanjay, is if you look at the REIT market in India, the real estate investment trust, some of them have invested in the entertainment space. Theaters are also considered as part of
Yeah,
commercial
right,
establishments for REIT.
right.
Now, if this is going to be a concern, the yield on REIT itself and the listing price consequently, apart from the valuation of the individual companies, could be challenged.
It could be, but I'm just waiting for when things get normal. Like okay, when we get out of the pandemic, I think things should get all right. It won't. The problem we are having in the interim for this period of 6 8 months. But once
Okay.
it opens up, I think theatre is going to be here to stay because the theatre owners are not willing to give that leeway to the content owners, saying you can go on to OTT in less than X number of weeks.
Okay. So now moving to the other arm of the other quadrant, which is the producer quadrant. Now, unlike a theater income, where the income is only for a short span, 2 month, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, with an OTT channel, you have a trail income which continues for some time.
Not necessarily because you
Okay.
end up selling to the OTT channel for a flat fee for 8 or 10 years,
Oh, it's a flat fee and not variable in some,
not a variable.
not a variable.
They have a
Okay.
variable model. They have a variable model, but that's for the lower end movies. The bigger ones get bought outright. The lower end movies is like
Okay.
pay on revenue basis, like pay X amount of
Okay.
rupee per hour of movie streamed.
So now, as a financier, do you see banks now trying to take a call on your receivables from these OTT platforms? Are you able to discount these platform revenues?
Banks are talking, but they haven't yet come around to understand discounting cash flows.
Hmm.
They still insist on getting property as security, and then based
As a
on the balance,
collateral and
they look at the balance sheet rather than looking at the receivables.
get it. I mean, I think the media has been notorious for collection issues in the past. So you've been able to run a SPAC, I mean, raise a successful SPAC.
Not yet raised. Not yet raised.
Okay, at least you're there, right? I mean, for
Applied.
$200 million, the media articles are there. Can you just share your experience and why that entire episode is being done?
So honestly, as far as I'm concerned, since the banks are not lending money, okay,
Mm,
the film industry is running short of capital. Phenomenal shortage of capital. Okay, banks are lending only to the creme de la creme. Whenever IDBI Bank gave the loans, also they gave it only to the top 10 producers. They
mm,
didn't go beyond the top 10, so it hasn't reached the last mile. Um, there is a paucity of capital, so that is the first thing that is required. Number two, let's assume I want to go into acquiring any company right now. If I had to go talk to the company, the owner will say, hey, okay, my company is worth example 500 crores. Where's the cash? Do you have the cash? So this way with the SPAC, you have the cash and you have the capability of going and talking with it's like you have a bank guarantee in hand and say, okay, I've got the money. If this is worth it, let's close.
okay. So it's more like a private, what I would say, a closely held financing arm for the media industry. That's typically what you're
Not really,
creating.
no. The SPAC is to acquire businesses.
Get it, get it, get
Existing
it.
businesses don't have capital. You have to look at a business that is doing well but not able to survive because of lack of capital, and then
Oh, and that's where you would chip in. Okay. Sanjay, I've got about 8 questions which have already come. But no, before I pick up the questions, I just have the other end of the spectrum. So we saw the theaters, we saw the producers. Now, from a consumer standpoint, again you've explained. Now, from an artist standpoint, what it is that COVID has done to them in terms of their revenue streams? Has it been extremely optimistic, or is there a darker side which we are missing out?
so for the for the predominantly known faces, first 3 4 months were very bleak, literally till July, August, till everything kind of got settled down. And when the shooting permissions are allowed, I mean, they are all finding ways. They've gone to, example, somebody's gone to Serbia for shooting, somebody's gone to Russia for shooting, somebody's gone to Dubai for shooting, somebody's shooting in Hyderabad, Ramoji Rao Film City, somebody's shooting in some set somewhere, somebody's gone to Ooty, but everybody's shooting. Everybody's
Okay. And everyone's busy making money in this time.
everybody's busy.
Lovely, lovely. Nothing. I don't know. The industry which we thought will be most affected, at least the public faces from that industry are all busy, right?
The
That's
public faces
ironic.
are busy. The rest of them are all still stuck. I mean, I at least meet on a daily basis at least 5 producers who say that, I'm not able to release my movie. What can we do? There are at least
Hmm.
5 brainstorming sessions in my office every day.
But these people, when they say they're not able to, just out of curiosity, can't they not enter into a 100% variable with someone like Netflix or Amazon and work it out? Will they still have a problem?
No, the problem is Amazon is not willing to give variable to an unreleased film. They give variable only to a film that's released and say, okay, you play it and take the money. But the problem is the financial load on the product is so much that they have to pay out before they start even exploiting.
Uh, Chicken or egg
There's a
story.
revenue mismatch.
Get it, get it, get it, get it. So I'll just start reading out the questions,
Yeah,
Sanjay,
yeah,
which I've
sure.
found. So, why is film financing still considered to be gray in India?
Because the success ratio of failure is 90%. Number one. Number two, the you need to have subject matter experts. Okay, the bankers honestly don't understand how the industry works, and the common man looks at it only from the glamour point. He doesn't see the
Mm,
dark underbelly, or he doesn't know what complications can arise. So unless you don't have a subject matter expert or experts on film financing who can run a bank, there should be something specifically for the film industry to be done. A normal banker
mm,
will not understand the business unless he has somebody for film sitting on the board.
So, which is why there is a compulsion on the industry to use other sources of
Yeah,
access to finance.
there's no bank lending money at all. I mean, there
There's
are,
no
but
plan.
they're giving it to corporate. A Fox will get it, or a Viacom
Ah,
will get it.
ah.
But that's balance sheet based or you know
Get it.
asset based.
On the strength of their other businesses. Correct, correct. So the next is an interesting question. So we see of late industrial houses taking to film production for expansion of their brand image. What are your thoughts on success of such transactions?
So uh,
And your own
I
very
don't
close
want to.
friend was also there.
Who? Sorry.
No, I think many of Tamil films, some of
Yeah, yeah. So I
your
just
close.
without naming the person. So for example, nobody knew who Mr. X was 3 years ago. Okay, but the moment he gets into films and he puts his banner, he puts his name, he puts his photograph,
Uh,
automatically overnight he becomes a public figure and everybody knows his name. Okay, it's the
hmm.
fastest way to get recognition.
Hmm. Okay, okay. And that trend still continues.
Very much. Because just imagine every day morning you open the paper and you have a Dinatandi or Dinakaran ad with your name and your face on it. And you go on the streets, you have your posters with your name on it. You see the trailer of a movie on YouTube or on TV and they say, Sanjay Wadhwa presents. So automatically
Yeah,
you become a common figure because you're there in the face of media, right?
get it, get it, get
Tomorrow,
it,
I
get it.
can challenge you. All you need to do is make a film for 4 crores, and Divakar will be known as a overnight. He'll be known as a public name across entire Tamil Nadu.
Mm,
4 crores.
mm.
I mean, 4 crores worth of product. You will
Uh,
probably recover 2 crores also. Okay, but for
Still,
2 crores, you would have become a public figure all over Tamil Nadu, or maybe all over the world.
so very interesting, Sanjay. So this looks again very similar to your Google scheme of things, where money comes from advertising, and search is only the pull factor.
Correct.
So if I mean, I'm just thinking aloud, if this by itself can be the proposition of film industry, where the creative content is only a layer for the advertising engine to piggyback on, shouldn't that be reducing your constraints on access to finance?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Why is that so? Let's say a group like Bombay Dyeing, I'm just thinking, who are also into the consumer space. Now, for him, a 10-20 crore budget to finance a film is not significant, or even 100 crore is not significant. And from what you're saying, he's creating content for 100 crores and he's able to recover even 60-70 crores. Now, he gets tremendous publicity for a fraction of the cost what he would have otherwise spent.
But that's only one. That's only one product. You need to have
Correct.
longevity. You have to have longevity, right? You have to do it the second time. How many times can you keep burning 40 crores? Which is why there's a concept in North India, in Bombay, especially not in South. You'll find when you watch a Hindi film, you'll find brand partner so and so. You'll find some 20 names there. All these 20
Yes.
people have come together and they've kind of contributed 50 lakh in terms of revenue in spend in marketing or whatever, right? So
Hmm.
they attach themselves to the movie and they write
Oh.
piggyback. So that's an easier way of doing it. Why would you want to blow 100 crores? You pick
I get it.
30, you pick 30 or good films, and you have a budget of 50 lakhs per film. That's 15 crores. In 15 crores, you have a
Hmm.
longer longevity.
Get it, get it, get it. So that's an interesting model, right? I mean, considering all this, still films don't make all the films don't make the cut.
They don't. Not all. 90% don't make the cut.
Wow.
You didn't hear my words. The success ratio of failure is 90%.
Statement filled with oxymorons. Nice. So the other one is from our industry. So the question is about why do film artists always attract the taxman's attention?
Soft target, number one.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
if hypothetically somebody comes to Divakar's house, nobody knows Divakar got. I mean, who's Divakar? But if they,
Hmm.
example, go to a Rajnikant's house, oh, they raided Rajnikant also. Media factor, first soft target, number one.
Hmm.
Number two, most of these artists are not not business, accounting savvy or tax savvy.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what happens is they have a high lifestyle because as an artist, I have to have a certain level of standard, a certain kind of a car. I mean, I
Hmm.
may not
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
able to afford the car, but I need to have the car to give out the image that I need to give. I
Hmm.
need to
Hmm.
keep
Hmm.
doing some philanthropy. I need to have my Rasigar Mandap or your fan clubs or whatever, right? So they
Hmm.
don't do the accounting in the right method or whatever that they need to spend. He may have a crore as income, but he has 30 lakh rupees as expense to maintain that star status or
Ah,
whatever.
ah, ah,
So
ah,
their
ah.
accountings are wrong, advisors are wrong. So probably that's another reason. And the
It's time for
so-called thing that film industry is the place where everybody wants to, a film does 10 crore, they'll say, oh, it did 25 crore box office. So
exactly.
they're doing that
Ah,
25 crore only to make
ah.
sure that the entire world says, oh, it's 25 crore, let me go and watch the movie. But what they don't realize in today's digital field, the taxman is watching you. So he's saying, oh, you declared 25, where is the 25? But actually, it will be only 10 or 12.
Correct, 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 correct,
We're
correct. So
building,
you
we're living
know,
in a house of cards.
ah, so you can no longer brag on rumors, right? Numbers which are not
But
real.
people still keep
Hmm.
hitting higher numbers in south, not up north. Up north is kind of cleaned out. It's all clean.
I think I still remember for one of the films about 2 years back, I asked you about a number which was published, and you said the real number is less than half of what is actually being published in media. So this is a larger question. Now, given the number of films, I think India should be in the top one or two countries in terms of number of films which
Highest,
gets
highest.
highest in the world. Right? So, what is there a concerted effort to build capacity in this industry across facets of talent needed?
So let me tell you this. The government, and I say government, I mean successive governments, have given the film industry a stepmotherly treatment. Okay? We don't have institutional funding. Okay, we have for the largest number of years, whenever we have had any, see, all our equipment required for our shoot and whatever we need is all imported, right? The
Hmm.
equipment and everything. We've been trying to tell them no, don't. I mean, of course, now it's changed. We've been saying no CVD, no countervailing duty, but we're getting countervailing duty because the government doesn't, look at it. We're the highest employers, highest taxpayers. I mean, if you look at from the GST perspective, but I mean, for some reason whatsoever, we've never got the eyes or ears of the government.
That's strange, probably. But your size is what, 20,000 crores a year, film revenues from India?
Yeah, maybe a little more, maybe a little more, maybe about 35,
Okay.
40,000.
So it's about $3 billion of size. Because whenever
Five,
you
I think
ask
it's about
people,
5 billion.
5 billion at this point in time. Okay. Because whenever you ask people for music, they go to UK for learning film technology, they go to the Western world.
Yeah,
But it's so unfortunate the country which produces the largest number of films, we don't have state of the art
we don't have,
institutions.
we
We
don't
don't
have,
have.
we don't have. There are a
Is it
few
even on the
schools.
cards?
See, not only that, there's also this stigma that's attached to the film industry. Like a normal middle class family does not want their kids to learn anything about cinema. For some reason,
Hmm.
it's considered a bad stigma, right? It's a stigma. So it's also a mindset issue. There is no training institute. Okay, in a film, you need 24 crafts, 24 different crafts. Okay, there is no training institute for lightmen. There's no training institute for carpenters. There's no training institute for spot boys. For
Hmm.
hairdressers. There's no training institute for these guys. They
Hmm.
learn on the
Hmm.
job.
They are on the job. So I think that creates the enslavement of the industry happens at that moment, right? When you don't have a structured way of disseminating knowledge.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's a point for the government to consider. I think because in the national skill development, none of the film trades have been are part of it.
No, they are part of it. There's nobody taking the incentive to do it, initiative to do it.
Okay, okay, okay. Is it because the industry also doesn't want
See, also
the
the industry is. I mean, we have partially we have to blame ourselves. The industry also is fragmented. For example,
uh,
today the television broadcasters are fighting with the audio company. The internet broadcasters are fighting with the audio companies. The audio company is fighting with the singers. The audio company is fighting with the lyric. I mean, it's fragmented. So we also are to blame because everybody's trying to get their pie without realizing that it's a collective effort.
get it, get it, get it. Now, since you raised the issue of fight, now how much of a disruption is YouTube in all these scheme of things? Given the fact that piracy on YouTube, let's say a good film song today can be recorded by watching it from another channel on my mobile, and I can post it and I'll start getting a million views based on that song. And the revenues which would have otherwise gone to the legitimate license holder gets again diverted in all these. What's the scene there,
So,
Sanjay?
so YouTube is basically, I think it's an enabler. It's been a game changer for copyright owners. Okay, uh, we have what is called content ID matching. So, if I put up the song and I claim ownership, I can claim the ownership. But what happens in the YouTube world is, there are millions of videos uploaded by everybody. So I can't keep watch. Sometimes the content ID doesn't match. There are issues where people claim that they have ownership when they actually don't have. Then you have to go back to the
Hmm.
legal structure. But honestly, by and large, YouTube has been definitely, I think, one of the best. What do you call the data engine
Developers.
they have, the data analytics that they have, and the dashboard that we have. They're probably the best. In fact, I'm working with Facebook. I mean, Facebook also started monetization of videos, but they're
Hmm.
nowhere near the data that Google is providing us. Absolutely nowhere. I mean, it's kind of we're kind of educating Facebook as this is what you need to be doing.
Okay,
From
okay,
our
okay.
experience in the past with YouTube.
Nice. I think from that standpoint, as you said, he's created a market which did not exist.
Yeah, but YouTube has lost the market again. I mean, it's like the case of the Kodak and the Nokia mobile, right?
Hmm.
So YouTube was the biggest in this country, even when
Yes.
we had lower bandwidth. And
Uh,
just around the time when Geo comes in and YouTube at that point, okay, what Amazon did came into the country and threw money and bought movies. And subsequently
hmm.
Netflix came, and now subsequently Hotstar has come or Z5 or whatever.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, YouTube had the advantage. They let it go. What they should have done is they should have then gone into the okay, now we'll buy content from producers and let's start buying. They had it in them. They had the right team. They had the right kind of people who've been in the industry in India and in the media, and they could have done it. For some reason, they lost that, and now they are laggards. They won't be able to catch up now because Amazon and Netflix have gone way beyond salvation for them.
Wow. I mean, that's what I think. No monopoly stays there for too long, right? At any
You
point
need
in
to keep
time.
reinventing yourself. You need to keep reinventing
Uh,
yourself.
so now, this keeping reinventing yourself, what you just said, to the extent what you can share, Sanjay. Film financing has been an industry where, at least in given my background, we have seen people lose inheritance legacies by financing of films. What has kept you apart? You are one of the most successful financiers in the entire country, I would say. Highly underrated, but probably that's your biggest strength. What has kept you? Because some of the audience here are bankers and people who are aspiring to make a mark in the financing world. What has been your success mantra in financing films?
First is luck, nothing else.
That's modesty. Come on.
Other second thing is to be successful in the film finance field. First of all, you need to make sure that you're not betting yourself. You should know the business. You should understand the business. You should know, for example, if today you're going to be funding, let's say, a Rajnikant movie, you should know what was his last film that did, what is the business it did, what did it do in terms of sale, and what did it do in terms of post release. So you need to
Hmm,
know, I sold for 100. No, the guy who bought for 100, did he make 70 or did he make 130? Okay.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
So if he's made 130, you know on your good wicket. If he's made 70, then you need to cut back and hold back. So you need to have
hmm,
absolute data at your fingertips. Number one. Number two, you need to be network. You should know the business perfectly. Number two, you need to be networked. For example, you need to know when a producer comes and tells you, I'm going to start shooting from example April 5th onwards. You need to know whether you are whether the guy is fibbing or does he have his things in place, whether
hmm,
shooting will happen or not happen. Third, you need to ensure whether the person has the capacity to pull off, because you're not going to fund the entire 100%. You're going to fund only 25 or
hmm,
30%. He needs to be able to pull off. You need to have the capacity. And as long as you're with the top 5 or 6 or 7 artists, you're kind of
hmm,
okay.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, okay. So again, staying to the topmost, it's like investing in blue chips in our stock
Exactly.
market
Exactly.
funda.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Since I've got 6 questions, but I'll just restrict it to two more. Um, how do you put a check on expenditures in film production?
I don't need to because I'm only the financier. Why would I bother about what the producer is spending?
Okay. So,
Because
but let's say
I
you
don't care on
have.
I'm not linked to the budget. I'm not linked to the budget of the film. Like, if the film spends 5 crores, I get X percentage. If the film spends 7 crores, I get X minus 5%, nothing else. I don't. Mine is a pure IRR. I lend money, I get my interest, and that's about it.
Okay, okay. So that's more the producer's headache and not the
That's
financier's
not
headache.
my headache at all.
Okay, okay. So let's look at it from a producer's perspective. I still remember the exercise we did on negotiation. Okay, so here you have a producer has a fixed budget, and you have a director and an artist. Director is a gentleman who finally takes a call on what needs to be done where, and of course the budget flows. So what is a control on expenditure? Okay, I mean, you can just keep going on and
Literally,
on. So
literally zero. I don't want to name, but I know a director who said that the movie will cost. I'm talking in 2006. He said the movie will cost about 2005. He said the movie will cost about 30 crores, other than the hero and my salary. And the movie
wow,
went up to cost finally 65 crores in 2005.
plus director and artist and the hero salary.
No, sorry, it was about 55 plus director and hero salary.
Okay, okay. So now, where is the stop loss there in such a situation?
So there's no stop loss. First of all, you need to make sure your pre-production is properly done. You need to make sure you have all your inputs. See, the problem with these kind of over budgets is when the director decides to think every 1 month and say, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, keep expanding his vision. you know
Hmm.
so unless you don't have a bound script, you should not go to the shoot. The first problem. Most producers say, okay, let's start shoot, we'll keep working on. Get the bound script, get the location breakdown. In fact, there are a couple of financial good control. Like there's a group of chartered accountants, they've called themselves FinGrid, FINGRID. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Okay.
So
No.
they get into a producer's shoes. They talk to the producer and director 5 months before the movie is being made to get into actually what is the script of the movie, what are the requirements you need for the movie, what are the locations you need for the movie, what day you're shooting, what kind of equipment you need every day, and they give you a breakdown budget of the movie before the shoot of the movie itself. And then the
Okay.
director will negotiate and say, okay, this is fine. And once it is frozen, they come in as ensuring on a day-to-day basis. They give you a report as to what went up, what went down, what is going wrong. So this,
Nice.
so
Okay.
they're a very good company. I've been using them for a lot of my films that we've been
Okay.
producing. We've been using them.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think the last question is on Bahubali.
Mhm.
Now, is the budget for a film like Bahubali fungible or fixed at the time of inception?
See, when they start, they know it's going to be 200 crores, 250 crores. They work with that number. They're not able to achieve that number, okay, on day one. So they wait for it to grow, to grow. If you see, the difference between Bahubali 1 and Bahubali 2 was literally 3 times in terms of revenues.
Oh, revenue.
Bahubali,
Okay. And
so
cost?
Bahubali 1, the cost was together. They did it together. But what happened was Bahubali 1 would have probably been, profit plus 10 or 20%. Bahubali 2 is which gave the kicker to them. So, I
Mm,
mean, I have no shame in admitting. In fact, when I got Bahubali 1, I didn't even know what it was. The guy came to my office and he said, sir, I'll give it to you for, let's say, hypothetically, 100 rupees. I'll give it to you for outright. Okay. And I'm here telling him, no, no, I don't want to buy it outright. I'll give you 75 rupees, but I'll distribute it. So I don't want to take a risk. The movie
mm.
ended up making close to 300 rupees.
Wow.
I only made, 50 rupees, the commission. Had I been smart enough to buy that at 100, I probably would have made the entire 200 bucks.
200 upside. Get it. Get it.
So
Get it.
it's just that sometimes you never know what it was. The Bahubali 2, between 1 and 2, the numbers went up for my territories that we're specifically talking about. It went up from that, actually from 100 went up to 800.
Pah. Okay.
And the
Okay.
recovery from 400 went up to close to 1500.
Oof. Okay. Okay. But I mean, these are like once in a decade kind of.
This is once in a lifetime.
Ha. So who takes that? It's your instinct which tells you that yes, will this sell or otherwise, right?
Not really. So I'll tell you how I work. So I mean, generally, when you go and buy a product, what happens? Every businessman says, "I'll buy this product for 100 rupees. I'll do a value add of 30 rupees, and therefore I'll be able to sell it, let's say 175. My profit is 35." Okay, that's how every
Mm.
businessman thinks. One of the key reasons that I have been able to survive is when I buy a film for 100 rupees, I first evaluate what could be the downside. What is the worst that can happen? So when I buy a film, I say, okay, fine, I'm buying a film for 100. I don't look at how much profit I can make. I look at how much is the loss that I will end up making if I buy the
Mm,
film.
mm, mm,
Okay, because I'm
mm,
playing Angayat's house. Remember,
mm,
90% of films bomb.
mm.
So in my mind, I'm doing this calculation while I'm negotiating with the producer that okay, this is a 100 rupee film. I'm going to buy it for, and I probably will end up losing 20 bucks. So it's 80 bucks is what it's my stop loss. What do you say?
Mm, 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 mm,
So
mm.
it's okay, 80. In my mind, I'm already working that can I afford to lose this 20 rupees and still continue my lifestyle without any change, maintain my lifestyle? If the answer in my mind is yes, I buy it, and the answer in my mind is no, I leave it.
Hmm,
So the result being a movie like, for example, I'll give you a simple example. I can specifically quote. There was a movie called Iruvar, which released in 1997.
yes.
That was a cult. I mean, today it's a cult film, okay,
Yes.
but that day it was a big disaster.
Hmm.
The timing was wrong, probably. Today everybody says
Yes.
a masterpiece, right? But that day it was a bomb. And I bought the film for 100 rupees. I lost 60 rupees. Every distributor who, in then I'm talking 97, every
Wow.
distributor who bought the film in Tamil Nadu was refunded 25% of the loss. So of the purchase
Oh.
price. So 100 rupees, if you had bought it, you will get back 25 rupees. I was the only
Hmm.
distributor who did not ask or get it. Likewise,
Oh.
In Linga, every distributor who bought the movie got refund. I was the only
Hmm.
one who didn't go for it because I already had planned and estimated my downside, and I
Downside, huh?
actually came out better. I came out better.
Wow. Even
My
in Linga.
Yeah, even in Linga, when I came out better, I didn't mean to make a profit. I assumed I'll make a loss of 100 rupees, but I ended up
Hmm.
losing only 30 rupees. So I'm fine. Mentally, I'm fine. It's about the mental frame of mind.
Get it. Get it. Get it.
Because if you're going to be looking at what can I do, if you're looking at making a profit of 100 rupees and you make only
Hmm.
60, you're still like, oh shit, I'm dejected. I made only 60. I should have made 100, right?
Get it.
But when
Get
you work
it.
on
Get it.
it's a half full glass and half
Get
empty
it.
glass story. So I'm not a pessimist, but I like to be cautious.
Lovely. I mean, I think it's a conservative way of looking at things, and you always come out happy, right?
Well, come on, happy, yeah.
Wonderful.
Be
Wonderful.
prepared for the worst, and nothing will go wrong.
Wow. Because I mean, when you look at a film like Bahubali, I think there were no big names. The names got bigger only after they got into the film.
Exactly, exactly.
And to bet 200, 250 crores on a film like that was guts, sheer guts. Wow. Sanjay, I think it's been a pleasure interacting. I think the clarity with which you come across and deal with complex issues, I mean, I think it's something which a lot of us have to learn and emulate over time. It's been a pleasure, pleasure,
All,
and thank you
all the
for
experience, all the experiences of losing along the way, because you're only seeing the success story. There are a lot of losses that we've, had.
which is why you are where you are now at the pinnacle of the industry, despite all these challenges. Thank you for your time and thanks for sharing
Thank
your
you very much.
experience, Sanjay.
Thank you very
Looking
much.
forward again another
Thank you.
conversation in some time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, friends, for joining us. Thank you.